Reservoir Dogs, which had just screened. John Woo was on the panel. He just made a movie called Hard Boiled. The directors, all three of them from Man Bites Dog, were there, and Peter Jackson. They were all just sitting in a row trying to talk about horror films and why they're disrespected, and why even fans of this genre don't actually celebrate them. They make fun of them and say how stupid they are. And so each one of them was trying to define it, and they came along with Peter Jackson, and he was so depressed during the whole panel discussion. I don't think he wanted to be there. He was just sitting off to the side, and someone said, I heard that you were trash-talking Friday the 13th movies. And he said, no, I'm not trash-talking them. In fact, I was so inspired by those films, I wanted to make the most bubblegum slasher film of all time. And with Dead Alive, I think he may have done that. Now, some of you have actually seen this film. Some of you are so obsessed with the movie, you've even seen the original version, which is called, right? And you'll find a real horror snob when they're like, okay, you mean Brain Dead? It has an extra 3 minutes of dialogue. Now, the version that we are watching is Dead Alive, but it is the unrated version. So, minus that 3 minutes of dialogue from the New Zealand cut, you're getting all of the gore, and all of the gore. Now, Peter Jackson, at this point, he was still making movies in New Zealand, and a lot of us in this room, we have not grown up with those films. I happen to have been born at that point, and so I grew up and did the first Peter Jackson Film Festival in Keene, New Hampshire, when I was in college. And was able to get his 2 previous movies that he had made right before Dead Alive. The first one is...
Bad Taste.
Second?
Meet the Feebles.
Very nice. Now, Meet the Feebles is a Muppet exploitation film, which is, light years ahead of all of the Broadway musicals now that use Muppets in an exploitative way. He was doing it back here in the late 80s and the early 90s, and his first film, Bad Taste, these are homemade movies. He grew up watching the Friday the 13th, and he made his own. I love thinking about this idea that 3 years after Friday the 13th, Sam Raimi releases The Evil Dead. So you had Sam Raimi and Peter Jackson watching Sean S. Cunningham's knockoff film, Friday the 13th, and those two start making their own home movies, 16mm, with their friends, with the clunkiest latex that now is like mind-boggling because everything's digital, and anything that's made with actual latex somehow looks real, because it wasn't real. It was actually made with real glue and spirit gum, and it's fucking annoying to try and pull that shit off. So throughout watching Dead Alive, we now get to celebrate just the idea of real special effects. That's a thing of the past. Now, after this movie, Peter Jackson makes what some consider his classic movie, Heavenly Creatures. And again, if you've only watched the Lord of the Rings films, and if you're very excited, you saw the trailer for The Hobbit this past weekend. If you've only grown up with those movies, you're going to find something that he's quite talented at, is finding the details in a hugely epic story. And Dead Alive is not a tiny little movie. This thing is trying to outdo every single horror movie ever made on a shoestring budget. He always comes in under budget. This is the way that you could be like Peter Jackson and Sam Raimi and take over Hollywood, come in under budget. Now, as I was talking before, the horror genre is disrespected. It traces itself all the way back to the silent era, and I do. I teach at the Academy of Art, and I teach film history. And when you look back at the history of horror films, you look at Lon Chaney. Lon Chaney worked for Todd Browning. If you look at these extremely disturbing films, there's a reason why you guys are here on a beautiful summer night. You guys are a little off. And what Midnites for Maniacs has always been here is a hate-free zone to sort of shelter you from a really scary world. Peter Jackson's world is nothing like the general one. And often we forget that. So I really would love to give it up to the Castro Theater and yourself. night, but being able to shell out $13, which is a great bargain, I know. Being able to, shell it out every day is hard. Now, I do want to give a little, plug for Lost Weekend Video. Does anyone go to this store? The experience of going to a video store and having to talk to a video store clerk, that's like a thing of the past. Gramophone is closing right now over, we've got this on Van Ness, or on Polk Street, that's closing. That idea that you could go in and ask for a recommendation of, hey, I like this movie, is there anything else? Being able to skim through titles that you've never heard of, accidentally looking over in the porn section, going into the gay lesbian section, heading into cult, which is right next to kids. It was a way that you could be exposed to all kinds of films, and Lost Weekend is still hanging on. Now, at the end of this month, they are, it's like this brand new underground movie theater that they have just built. It's underneath the video store, and it's sort of their last gap. They're trying to stay open. They've got real movie theater seats down there. They're going to be screening movies, I think, day and night. And the only way for you to actually keep it open is to actually go. So thank you for coming out to the Castro Theater. 90 years of cinema that you are now a part of. Does anyone know the lead actor of Dead Alive? Very nice. And this is impressive. Now, forgetting that, now you got to turn around so that everyone can see. Come on, this goes to the perfect man right here. Let's give it up. There are trailers before this film to one, get you in the mood of Peter Jackson, because Peter Jackson fans even did some of his more obscure films, and I want you to always sort of keep your eyes and hearts open to filmmakers that you love. You turn your backs on them, dude, everyone's been trash-talking Tim Burton all of a sudden. Real quick, you show your true colors, and suddenly someone doesn't make the movie of your dreams. It wasn't as good as Beetlejuice. Fuck off! You turn your back on these auteurs, and you're going to run into David Lynch. You can't even make a movie anymore. So being able to support Peter Jackson, no matter what he does, no matter how much he sells out, in your opinion, means a lot to me, as well as the Castro Theater. So thanks so much for coming out, you guys. It's really nice to meet you.